how do we add randomness to this? At the moment, we've just got this underscore, or we could have it as a dot, for instance. So how do we actually fill this in with random letters? To do this, we need to make a list of random letters to pick from. So what I'm going to do is actually make something up here. So I'm going to say, roughly around here, what is our kind of random list? Now, what we say when we want a list, I could actually just make this a constant actually, because it's not going to change. What we want to do here is make this equal to a list of each individual characters. So when we do a list, usually we do something like this. We do square brackets, then A, comma B, comma C. But as you can imagine, this will get quite long pretty quickly. So what I'm going to do is a quick shortcut version. Essentially what I'm going to do is a string, which is going to look like ABC, and all of the kind of letters in place. And then when I've written all my letters, I might want to, have I missed anything out there? Maybe not. I'm also going to put some random ones in here as well. So maybe I kind of put some dots and underscores and maybe some dollar signs and maybe a kind of pound sign and a hash and at sign maybe. So quite a few things in here as well. So this is a list of characters. Well, this isn't a list of characters. Currently it's just a string. I can actually split this up. So I'm going to split this up and make it into a list or an array. To do that, at the end of this, I'm going to do dot split, and I'm going to do something on this string. I'm going to split it by no characters. So here, basically, it's going to make a list of things from scratch. So how do I get this random list and pick one of these things from here? Well, to start with, this is now a list or an array, and instead I want to add to the end of this something from this list. To do that, I'm going to pick this list, random list. So what happens if we do just this? We get something that's pretty long, pretty quick. Basically, it's printing out the whole list. We just want to pick one or two things from this list. To pick something from a list or an array, we're going to use square brackets and then the number. So what is the 0 thing in this list? A. So now what we should see, if I refresh the page, is AAA, which kind of doesn't make too much sense. We kind of want to have something from this list instead. I want to pick something random from this list. Now, to do something random in JavaScript is actually quite ugly. So I'm going to do this quickly, but basically we want to pick a random number between 0 and 1, times it by the amount of things in this list, and round it. So to do that, I'm just going to say, instead of 0, I'm going to do math.floor and then round brackets. This is basically making it a round number. Then inside this round brackets, I'm going to do math.random and then run that. And then times math by random, which is between 0 and 1, between the whole list dot length. It's a little bit longer than I like, but essentially from this list of things, pick a random one, randoms between 0 and 1, multiply that by how many things are in this list. That might be 21.567. Then we want to floor that, which is essentially make it a round number. So 21 in here, and then pick number 21 from this list. So now by adding this in here, we have something that looks like this. If I refresh, we have something that looks like a typo effect really, really quickly. And because we're doing this in the random interval, this runs every 50 milliseconds. Again, if I want to slow this down, I can do this here. So this is 200 and then 50. So now this will run a lot slower. The random interval will still happen at 50 milliseconds, but this kind of addition, let's make it really big, won't happen really, really quickly. You can see it kind of starting to fill in every second. 100 milliseconds is 1 second. And this takes a while to obviously load. Now, again, I'm going to make this just 100 because that feels very natural. But what we want to do as well is once this content is done, I also want to stop this random interval from doing any more. So once it's done, I'm also going to clear the interval for random interval. Once it's finished, finish it, which kind of makes sense. So now what we get is something that looks like this. We have this kind of random typo effect. But how do I make it kind of appear when I scroll down the page? So that's the next thing that we're going to focus on. But we have this typo effect in place now. We can just keep it as it is. We want to add some more detail to this.